Getting back with an ex is a difficult task, I'm not gonna lie. And as a matter of fact, my job is to help people getting back with the ex. In this video, I'm gonna introduce you something very important. If you feel that you're struggling at the moment, if you feel that whatever you're doing, you don't see any progress. In this video, I'm gonna explain how you can build that resilience. And trust me, being resilient is also something that would attract your ex. Being strong, showing how you can sort of overcome difficulties is something that your ex would want to see and that would ex be attracted with if it's English. I'll explain everything after the jingle.
IGetMyExBack.com. Everyone deserves a second chance.
So first of all, I want just to quick caveat on this. It doesn't work on everyone. What I'm going to tell you. The reason it's otherwise it would be too easy and I wouldn't have a job. We need to make sure that we can rekindle what you had. Okay? So first of all, whether your relationship was strong enough and post breakup, if you did, or what led to the breakup, you didn't did about too much harm. You know, you didn't abuse your ex or abusive or bullied your ex or things like that, or cheated on them at some point, or really how sort of would your ex forgive you if you did something wrong, basically. Another way to address this or to analyze this is to take the quiz that I put together. It's a quiz to help you figure out if you have any chance to get back with your ex. I left the link in the first comment of the video and also in the description. If you have less than 15 in the quiz, what I'm going to say or introduce in this video doesn't really apply because I can't really help you. But if you have a score above 15, I would recommend you to take a piece of paper and write down all those steps. I've listed 7 steps for you to become more resilient, and you'll see there's a recap at the end. Of course, you can also take notes at the end on the last slide. So step 1 is acceptance. Something classic, a little bit the same as grieving process. There's a stage of acceptance towards the end. You have to accept the decision. You may disagree, and I'm sure you disagree at the moment, but you have to accept it for now. The more you fight it, the more time you're losing and wasting. What you have to understand is that your ex thought about this breakup for a while. So fighting this decision, trying to convey the idea, trying to have an argument about that, coming to them with facts, with proof, it's too late, right? So they won't change their minds so rapidly. Okay, otherwise you wouldn't watch this video. Okay, so be realistic. Okay, you've tried to convince your ex, and I'm pretty sure you've done this step. You've tried to convince your ex, you're still single. So there's something else. You have to accept the situation for what it is, and then you move on to step number 2. Step number 2 is self-compassion. Don't get me wrong, a breakup is really difficult. I know it. As a matter of fact, I was in your shoes a few years ago. But what's happening for most people is we fall into the trap of self-criticism. We feel like, I'm never going to find someone. It's all my fault. I'm not good enough. I will never find love. And we get into that, ruminate on those thoughts. What I want you to do is to be compassionate with yourself. I'm pretty sure you've been compassionate with people in the past, perhaps your ex or other people, in your family, your friends. I would suggest you try to exercise the same compassion, but for yourself. And so compassion is to be concerned about yourself and help yourself to relieve the pain. So it's those 2 elements. That's how you can alleviate this sort of self-criticism and build up self-compassion. Because if you don't have this, you're not going to be able to attract your ex. If you don't have this, you're not going to be resilient and be able to make the effort, because it requires a lot of effort to work on yourself. It requires a lot of effort to get back with your ex, to act and have the right attitude. More self-compassion equals more resilience. And perhaps right now, the reason you're struggling so much, the reason you're about to give up is because your self-compassion is really low. So try to assess whether there's something you could be doing about yourself. looking at those thoughts, and we're going to discuss about those thoughts afterwards. Be mindful, okay? The herd of zebra. So if you think about a herd of zebra, they are very chilled, right? You know, when they eat and stuff, but they are alert because there's always a lion hanging around, okay? And so when there's a lion or any sort of predators, they will immediately go to the fight or flight mode. Usually they fly. But then once the lion is away, you'll see they're always like, okay, he's gone. And then back to eating. The problem we have in today's society is that we are constantly in this fight or flight mode and we never take time to relax. And so my point is for you to try to exercise being alert and relaxed. Really coming from one state to another. So you have the ability, you have to work on that. It's just a question of forcing yourself to pause. When you have those stress, when you have those feelings in your chest, when you just, heavy chest, when you feel that your gut is going, upside down, try to pause for a moment. Doesn't need to go and do hours of meditation or have headspace or whatnot. It's really about, okay, there's something going on in my body. I'm going to pause for now. Maybe you just make yourself a cup of coffee, you go for a walk, whatever. Just interrupt the process and be mindful about that. Think about the zebra. They're really chilled, but alert. You can be the same. Be really alert about your emotion and what's going on in your body, in your mind. No judgment. When you have those thoughts, don't be judgmental about those things. They're information, they're pieces of information. Just try to exercise your ability to step out and analyze those thoughts. Again, I will explain in detail afterwards. The step number 4 is to find your grit. So Viktor Frankl, an amazing person who was in Auschwitz, I think, during the World War II, Auschwitz or another camp, doesn't matter. And he developed this idea, he actually is the precursor of logotherapy. He developed the idea that if you have a goal, if you have a purpose, then you'll be able to overcome any challenges. And he noticed that in the camps, he noticed for himself that the people, the survivors, the ones who were the more resilient, were not the strongest. Regardless whether they were male or female or their age, what made people survive the camps is that they felt there's unfinished business. They have a goal outside. They've started something. They had some of his, the people he was with, they had started some either building houses or pieces of art, but it was unfinished. They were brought into the camps and they had something to finish. And so they had this idea, this obsession that actually I have a purpose outside of the camp. I need to survive. I need to be alive to be able to finish what I've started. Because I have a purpose. And so the idea is really about finding and have clarity about your goal. It's called a sense of agency. The sense that you can act on things, right? If we extrapolate into your situation. The fact that you can be proactive, right? Don't, sit down, just look at the life passing by. This is not what's going to solve your problem. Don't go with the flow. That's the trap. That's the trap that I see on a daily basis with clients. And it's normal that you want to go with the flow because it doesn't require energy. And when we suffer from breakups, we are really low in terms of energy. We are really low in terms of motivation. We don't see the bright side. And therefore we go with the flow. We're lazy, right? Find ways to influence something in your life. Find ways to push yourself. For example, if you go to the gym, challenge yourself. Challenge yourself. Little challenges that will give you that sense of agency. The sense that actually, whatever you do can have an impact. Whatever you do, whatever you do in your life, you have control about it. That's also the problem of breakups, is that you have from one day to another a complete loss of control. That's why you're trying so hard to get back with your ex sometimes, because we want to control our ex. We want to convince them. So find ways in your day-to-day life on how you can impact people. That's why I love the idea of building a community where you could also exercise that skills with people who are part of the group of I Get My Ex Back. Stay tuned because I'm going to launch something in the next few weeks. But the idea that how can you have an impact on someone's life? Could be your family, could be your friends, could be your community. When you do a new activity, how can you push yourself? Okay, this is how you can find your grit. Step number 5 is gratitude, which is famous for people who want to fight anxiety. Be like a 2 years old. I have young kids, and it's amazing when you walk in the street with them, they're amazed by everything. The bus, the scooter, the car, the tree, the leaf, everything is amazing. Have the same view of the life. You can be, or someone from the past. Think of it like you bring someone from the 13th century, you bring in him here and freak out. All this technology, those healthcare, the education, all these things that we took for granted. Just be amazed. The fact that I'm shooting this video with my phone, right? And I'm gonna publish this video online. It doesn't even make sense. 50 years ago, I have something that I can put in my pocket, record it, and then publish it online. And it didn't cost me my house, right? And I can do it. And I have a mic, which is wireless. It's just crazy. So have that gratitude. There are so many things in your life that are amazing. I know some of my clients, for example, they live in big cities like New York or San Francisco. And so they don't realize that a lot of people would love to live in those cities. I live in London, and sometimes I forget that I'm living in one of the best cities in the world, right? Because we used to live there. So again, similar to mindful, be able to pause for a moment and appreciate the little things in life. Maybe you can, some people do that. There's a lot of journal online, gratitude journal that you can buy. You can write a note in the morning, in the evening, maybe the 3 things you're grateful for. You could be grateful for the coffee you got this morning from the barista. It doesn't matter. You could be grateful that, this cup of water, it's, it doesn't need to be about promotion. It doesn't need to be about getting your ex back. It's the little things in life, right? Another aspect and another thing that I want you to try, similar to being proactive, is how you can carve out time. Be proactive in how, rather than not planning anything, why don't you plan time in your diary through the week of things you want to do, of things you would love to do. Instead of thinking like, yeah, I want to take this drama class. No. You book a drama class, you put it in the diary, and so every Wednesday evening, whatever, you go to this drama class. Because if it's just an idea and you don't make any commitments to it, you're never going to do it. Because I'm pretty sure that on Wednesday morning, you wake up a bit tired and you feel like, yeah, not today, tomorrow. Yeah, I'm sure you know what I'm talking. Step 6, watch out for your emotions. It's something that's my thing with my clients. What you're going through is stressful. This fight or flight mode where we have this limbic system freaking out. And we have to you have to learn to manage those 2 things. See, like in a car, you have the brake pedal and the gas pedal. The parasympathetic system is the brake, is the thing that is like, all the stress, all those emotions. The sympathetic system is the gas pedal, okay? And some people, they would use their 2 feet at the same time, or they would just be stuck on the brake. So what you have to do is to really learn how you can, when you brake, take off your foot from the pedal and slowly put it on the gas pedal. The one way to do it is very simple. It's breathing techniques. When we are super stressed, there's all this parasympathetic system blocking our brain activities and sort of overloading our brain. One way to stop, and again, very similar to mindfulness, you pause, and you breathe. I'm going to give you some details on the last slide. Some breathing techniques will really help you when you breathe in and out deeply. You force your system to first oxygenate, and as well as releasing those tension very quickly. You don't need to do that for hours. Really, for 5 minutes, if you do that, there's actually proven studies that it's actually affecting your brain, affecting all those systems in your body. So, you're going through a stressful moment. I can't change that, right? And you can't change that. What you can change is your response to those stress. And I would argue that this is something you're going through because of a breakup, but it's something you can go through because of work, because of your family. So it's something that you should learn anyway, and that would be helpful in your life anyway, regardless whether it's to get back with your ex or it's a skill for life or for anything else in your life. Step number 7, focus on what you can control. Very often, when I have first calls with clients or when I'm on my discovery calls, I hear people asking me for things about their ex that they can't control. Do I have an example? Are they dating someone? And if they're dating someone, what should I do? Well, they're dating someone. You can't control that. They chose that person. Maybe it's a rebound. Maybe it's going to be something serious. We can't really control, right? And there's so many things in life that we want to control and we can't control. You have to accept that you can't change your ex. Even when you were together, you can't change them. That's the biggest, not misconception, but the biggest challenge people have in relationships. They want to change their partner. The only way you can change someone is that person who wants to change. You want to change yourself. I'm pretty sure that your ex in the relationship wanted to change you and you were resisting in a way, right? So accept that you can't change yourself. Accept that you can't control that. What you can control is whatever is here, right? That's you. You can change that. You can control that. You have to really let go the idea that you can change your ex. Let it go. It doesn't work. Right now, focus your effort, your attention on yourself, because that's the only person you can control right now. And you can control all aspects of your life. What you do during the day, your objective, your support, who you're talking to, what you're doing with your day, how you manage the stress, how you manage this breakup. You can control these things, right? So stop spending 75-80% of your time thinking about your ex, thinking about how you can control them, because you can't. Remove this idea from your head, because that's what's also creating a lot of anxiety. That's why it is preventing you from being resilient, because as you have these ruminating thoughts about things that you can't control, of course you can't control them, therefore you don't have results, and if you don't have results, then you're depressed, and because you're depressed, you don't have energy, and if you don't have energy, how can you get back with your ex? A bit of recap. This is a journey, and there's another. This is a journey. And before I put on the recap, if you want to have a chat with me and you want to have some personalized tips, don't hesitate to give me a call. I have free discovery calls, about 3 or 4 per day, where you can ask as many questions as you want, and the idea is to provide you tips and get you unstuck. The link is in the description, and there's also a WhatsApp link if you want to have a chat with me on WhatsApp. If you don't like calls, it's fine, but I don't bite, so you can call me anyway. Recap and tips. This is a journey, right? Don't see this as just the goal. This is also the journey. Reward yourself for each success. That's the problem you have also right now, is maybe you are failing to acknowledge that you've done so much work so far. And use this situation to learn about yourself. That's why I'm so passionate about my job, is because breakups are also situation in people's life where we can really change, where we can really transform. If you feel stressed and you feel you need motivation, why don't you keep a journal? I ask most of my clients to keep a journal, to write me, to share with me their thoughts. You can practice cardiac coherence. I'm going to leave a link somewhere in the description. It's basically breathing in and out for 5 seconds, 5 second inhale, 5 second exhale for 5 minutes. It's as simple as that. You don't need to have an app. You don't have to have, I think there's an app on the iPhone, on the Apple Watch. Just do that for 5 minutes. It's magic. It's magic. Write down also the below and see how you can improve on those things each day. Acceptance. Where are you on acceptance? 0 to 10. Are you at 1? Okay, how can you be more, how can you accept more the situation? The self-compassion, the mindful, the grit, the gratitude, the emotions, and the control. Look at those aspects, write them down. Pause the video, write them down, and look how would you rate those things. And maybe in a week's time, okay, where am I? What have I done? What have I done in terms of mindfulness? Am I more mindful of my emotions? Gratitude, am I grateful about this day? What have I done this week so I can feel more grateful? Okay? It's really about the progress. It's really about the journey. The problem you have is that you're watching my video, so that's not a problem, that's good. But the problem you have is that you watch videos and then you think, okay, I get it. And then you forget, or you do something else, or you're back to your ruminating thoughts about your ex and about how you can control your ex and about how you can change your ex without focusing on what's important and what you can control, right? So do this work. Get in touch with me if it doesn't make any sense. Subscribe to the channel if you want to watch more videos like this. Like the video if you think it was helpful to you, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.
igetmyexback.com. Everyone deserves a second chance.